You know, your local council's annual report, it's supposed to be the ultimate tool for accountability, but a lot of the time, the story you see on the surface, well, it isn't the whole story. So today we're going to dive deep into Shoalhaven City Council's latest report and see what the data really tells us. Okay, let's get right into it. So right out of the gate, the message from the top is super positive. The CEO is painting this picture of a fantastic year, you know, all about significant progress and big achievements. It really sounds like a council that's just firing on all cylinders. Is it? Because once you start to dig past those shiny headlines and you get into the actual numbers, a very different picture starts to emerge. So are we getting the unvarnished truth here, or is this a very carefully curated story? The official story, you know, the one told by Councillor White and the CEO, is all about this major turnaround. The key message they're pushing is that after some tough times, the council has finally turned a corner and is absolutely on the right track. Here are the highlights. They really want you to focus on. They say the finances are being fixed, strong foundations for the future are being laid, services are running just fine, and get this, a pretty remarkable 88% of their goals are either done or on their way. I mean, on the surface, that sounds like a massive success story, okay? But to really judge those claims, we first have to understand what an annual report is actually for. It's not a glossy PR brochure. It's a legal document, and it's designed for one main thing: accountability. That's right under the Local Government Act. This is a serious legal document. It has a duty to disclose everything. The good, the bad, and yeah, even the uncomfortable. It's not meant to be a political ad. Its real job is to give you the cold, hard facts. The standard for truth here is incredibly high. We're not just talking about one rule. You've got multiple integrity bodies from the Auditor General all the way to ICAC, and they all demand complete, totally unbiased disclosure. The message is crystal clear. Leaders are legally and ethically bound to tell the whole story. So let's use that as our measuring stick. So let's do it. Let's apply that measuring stick. Let's put the leadership's big claims right next to the financial data from their very own report and see what we find. So the claim is they're fixing the finances, but the reality, well, there's still an underlying operating deficit of $17.4 million. The only reason the numbers look better is because they've been propped up by these one-off windfalls, like selling off $11.3 million worth of public land. That's not a sustainable fix. It's really just a short-term patch. Then they claim significant progress and that 88% of goals are on track. But the reality is that a lot of those so-called savings are coming from just not filling essential staff positions. And what does that lead to? Slower services and project delays. And that 88% figure, well, it conveniently seems to ignore the 16 critical projects in areas like roads that are actually delayed or failing. Okay. Now let's talk about the city's foundations, its infrastructure, to really understand what's happening here. Let's try an analogy. Think of it like this. Imagine a homeowner who just decides to stop paying for essential repairs. The roof is leaking, the drains are all blocked up, but they don't fix any of it. Instead, they go around boasting about how much money they're saving. On paper, sure, their bank balance looks great, but in reality, the house is literally falling apart around them. That right there is the story of Shoalhaven's assets. Here you can see that core conflict so clearly. On the one hand, leadership is claiming they've built these strong foundations, but on the other hand, the data tells a completely different story. Deteriorating roads, big cuts to maintenance and delayed repairs. This is a classic case of creating short-term savings that are going to create massive long-term costs. This brings us to a really staggering number, $278 million. That's a negative number. That's how much the council had to write down, basically reduce the official value of its entire road network. In simple terms, it's a huge admission that the roads are in far, far worse shape than they've been reporting. This problem is just getting worse. See, the infrastructure renewal rate is supposed to be at 100%. That means you're fixing things just as fast as they wear out. Shoalhaven is only at 65%. That means the city's roads, its drains, its buildings, they're all falling apart much faster than they're being fixed. So does this match what people are actually experiencing out there in the real world? Well, the community satisfaction score for road maintenance is just 2.6 out of 5. The numbers in the report are a direct reflection of the frustration that residents are feeling every single day. So if the money isn't being spent on maintaining these core assets, where is it going? Let's follow the money trail and see what the council's real priorities are. The council publicly claims it provides over $8 million in community support. I mean, that's a fantastic headline, but the actual amount of cold hard cash donated directly to community groups, it's just over $176,000. The rest is mostly made up of things like fee waivers and other non-cash subsidies. Now let's compare that tiny little sliver of community donations to the financial breaks being given to developers. The data shows that for every single dollar that went to local community groups, a staggering $34 went to developers through forgiven fees. Just let that sink in for a second. So how does this even happen? Well, the reports suggest a one-team culture is used to manage the story. So any councillors who dare to question the official narrative or who point out these discrepancies, they risk being branded as disloyal, and that effectively silences critical debate. So after all this analysis, after all these numbers, why does any of it matter? Well, it matters because these numbers have a direct impact on your neighbourhood and on your life. When you put it all together, this is the big picture for every resident. You've got a council whose finances are fragile and they're relying on selling off public assets to stay afloat. You've got roads and infrastructure that are getting worse, not better. Key services are underperforming, which means longer waits for you. And all of this results in rock bottom community trust and leadership. At the end of the day, you don't live in a spreadsheet. Residents don't experience a clean audit opinion. No, they experience the potholes on their street, the wait times for basic services, and what their rate bill is actually buying them. And that leaves us with one final and really critical question. This annual report is supposed to be the ultimate tool for accountability, but when the story told by leaders and the story told by their own data are two completely different things, who is truly being held accountable for the truth?